It's day 26 of designing an Animal Crossing island in just 30 days using only DIYs. Yesterday we did a whole bunch of chores. Then we made everybody in the world who likes potlucks feel really bad. But enough screwing around because it is day 26 and time is running short. Only in 30 days possible. We might finally get the recipe for hedges. And if we do, I'm going to be putting those things everywhere. Look, even Gizmo's excited. What? You didn't know we named the mascot Gizmo? Guys, it's been almost a month. How did you not know Gizmo's name? I'm just disappointed. And honestly, so is he. All right, enough wasting time. We should just need to buy something from him, and I think he'll then give us that recipe. He did not. Please? Oh, wait a minute. He's saying something different. Hold on. Yes! Oh, finally, recipe for a hedge. I cannot believe it. What a fantastic way to start the day. Oh my gosh. I'm going to use this in so many spots. As you saw though, it is probably a good idea at this point to clean out my inventory a little bit so we can get started. I've gone ahead and gotten a bunch of my dailies out of the way already so that we can focus on the task at hand, which today is really about putting more things on the island. I still do have a couple of more little errands I want to run. For example, I want to get these fossils identified, all of which don't need to be donated. Grab the points anyway, sell off the excess and all of our junk, buy a whole mess of customization kits, wish that certain items were DIYs instead of ones you can only purchase, and then track down our daily DIYs. This one's the golden samurai suit, which I do believe requires the standard samurai suit. I don't know if that's a craftable. I think you just buy that from Nooks. The golden recipes, unfortunately, are ones that I can't do much with. And Angus is crafting a pot, which, I mean, as you know, I already have. I'm putting them everywhere. So, 2 DIYs I can't do anything with. Don't worry though, we have one more chance to get a new DIY today. Okay, pretty nothing special, Captain Island. There are some shrubs here which I like, but I'm probably not gonna leave our island in this particular season. I've been thinking about that, and I do want to go back to like August, where we kind of started, because the bushes I already have are in bloom in that season, and it just looks nice, the kind of late summer. So I probably will be leaving the island in that season instead of spring. All right, let's see what this is. It's a shell music box, which I do already know. So 1 new DIY, which I can't use, and 2 old DIY. Oh well, let's bash some rocks and head home. Now that all the chores are done, what is the plan for today? Well, it's pretty non-specific because we are down to the last days of this challenge. That means our focus needs to be the finished areas or nearly finished areas of the island. You see, for me, the biggest thing about designing Animal Crossing Island is making decisions. If you want to finish an island quickly, you just need to make a lot of decisions. So we're going to go to some of these more barren areas and make some decisions. And I think this is one area I do want to start with because it's so boring. It's just a straight path that goes up to a bridge. That's dumb. We need to figure out what we can do to make this path more interesting. Now, of course, you know one of the recipes I've been looking for is the tall lantern. I never did get it, so this entire island is street lightless. And you probably also noticed that I'm no longer in cherry blossom season. We did end up missing the last of it in terms of getting presents. We didn't get that far. So I'm letting that go. I think that cherry blossom recipes are great, but I cannot just stand around waiting for balloons anymore. It's driving me nuts. So my thought for this path was that I would start by making some like benches, and we would just kind of put benches in sort of a pattern and line the path with little places to sit. Speaking of balloons, it's a football, okay? So let's just make a little junk pile for Nooks later. Anyway, now that we have our new hedge recipe, we can make a whole bunch of these. It kind of stinks that they require stone, but I mean, we get a lot for not too many materials, and we can start using these to help line our paths as well. Speaking of lining paths, there are even more fences I'm trying to get, so let's check the Nook stop. Oh right, I paid off my house. I forgot about that. That next loan will be easy. I didn't have the simple wooden fence, so that's fine. There's still a few we don't have, it feels like. So I've gone ahead and made my hedges, and now we can start to clean up this area a little bit and get it ready for decorating. The first thing I'm going to do is actually chop down these trees. I made the decision early on to keep as many trees as possible so that I could, have them to decorate with. But I have a lot now. Like, I have way more trees than I realistically need, and these ones are just kind of getting in the way. I also don't have a ton of lumber, so I'm just going to go ahead, get rid of these, solve 2 problems at the same time, collect the lumber that comes out, and, I guess 3 problems because we need to clean up the area anyway. And I got some points for my destruction, so now I'm feeling like I should do more destruction. But for now, let's just focus on this. There are a couple of ways in which we can handle this situation. These paths are wide, so if I wanted to, I could put the hedges here, and just kind of create a more narrow path and just have it lined with hedges. Alternatively, I could put the hedges on the grass like this And then if I wanted to, I could put maybe a bench or something, and again, line the path with those, and put those directly on the path. Or, and the idea that I think I like the most, is actually putting the hedges one tile away from the path, and then putting my benches on this section. It's kind of hard to know exactly what to do in this situation because I think all options could be interesting for decorating around, and having the paths unobstructed is kind of nice too. Just a really nice wide path you can run all over and not worry about tripping over benches and stuff that people left behind. My thinking is if we hate it, we can just pick all this stuff up and try again. We do have some additional shrubs to kind of clean up as well. We'll deal with those later. While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and extend this path over to the beach like we've done in other areas, just to go ahead and like complete that transition of like path to beach all over the place. I guess that means I should probably do that up here too, but I actually kind of like that this ends with grass. I might just leave it. So this would be what it would kind of look like when it was all laid out. So all of our paths or all of our hedges laid out next to the path. And then we'd have to decide the pattern, right? We are all about symmetry here on GWiz. So how many benches, how far apart, what goes between the benches, so on and so forth. We also have this entire area to deal with on the other side of the path. I don't think I'm going to worry about it too much. I might just leave it a little open. I will go ahead, though, and create a bit of an entrance to resident services like we did over here. I'm going to be using the iron garden bench across this entire area we're doing, and I'm going to go ahead and customize it into anything but green, honestly. I've gone ahead and made 6 of them. I don't know if that'll be enough, but we'll see. The white benches give me kind of like garden-y vibes, and since I'm probably going to be using a lot of trees and shrubs and stuff over here, I'm going to go ahead and make them all white. The most tedious part about this entire process is going to be figuring out how far apart to space all of the benches. Again, this is where symmetry kind of bites you a little bit because it is difficult to get this stuff spaced out when you have so much empty room. When I do stuff like this, I tend to work from the edges and kind of go towards the center. All I really need to figure out is how much space to put between each bench. I'm going to start with maybe just 4 tiles and try that and go from there. It feels like 4 was a good starting point. I have 1 more bench I can place down, and it feels like 4 was like so close, but unfortunately, I think it'd be better to increase the space between each one instead of try and shove more in there, because if you look as we walk, I mean, that's a lot of benches. It almost looks pretty silly. So I think if we make it like, I don't know, at this point I should probably do some actual math, but like 5 tiles or around that, that would be a bit better. So 1 less bench, just more space between them. I've been at this for longer than I care to admit, but it looks like the magic number is in fact 4 tiles, and just take the edge benches in a little bit. I'm sure there's a billion ways you could do this, but this works for me. I don't want to think about this anymore. I hate numbers. With our benches all placed down, we can finally decide what goes between all of them. So instead of that, I went ahead and crafted the things that will go behind the benches because I'm a lunatic. I've decided to use the very minimal amount of fall items that we managed to get from the fall season and put those back here instead. They have some really cool customizations. So this one was called the Strange Mushroom. I like this. I'm going to use 3 of these tables, probably about like that. I think maybe we'll do something like that, so they all kind of face a different direction. And no one's really going to be walking back here, so I'm probably going to clutter this quite a bit. There'll be these tables. I'm also going to put trees back here and flowers as well. Additionally, I made a leaf stool. I turned it green. And let's see, maybe it can face this way. And then I also made another one of my favorite items, a terrarium, because why not, right? We're just creating a weird overgrown-ish nature area, and I thought that would look pretty cool. While I was at it, I made a maple leaf pond stone, which I'm going to put maybe right about here-ish. You know, just thought this would be a nice touch as well, kind of poking out in between the trees. I'm going to turn it this way, though. And to complete this area, it's just going to be kind of trees, maybe a couple other odd decorations here and there. Meanwhile, I have all these shrubs, and all of them except for 2 are pink. So for symmetry reasons, that's a problem. Also, I need to know what this balloon is. It's a ranch wardrobe. The balloons are literally just items I can't use anywhere. Oh, and you might have also just noticed I made a red leaf pile. The plan for that was always the campsite, and I wanted to put that kind of between these 2 areas here. And I think something like that looks kind of nice, helps fill out the area. It also makes no sense at all because these trees don't produce red leaves. Try not to think about it too much. If I had the green leaf pile, I would just do that. But you know what? It's a nice little pop of color. I may grab it and put it down here somewhere. It'll probably make more sense in this area, but let's just think about it for a bit and see how much space we have left. Anyway, in terms of shrubs, I'm just going to start placing these down between the benches. And I don't know how many it's going to take. I didn't really count it too much. We'll just kind of put them down, see what we got left. So I've kind of figured out a pattern for them. We have 1 in the corner. We have 2 between these benches. Then I've gone ahead and put 1 around this bench, just on either side, and then did the same pattern up here at the top, as before, so I think that's fine. Next up, we'll grab some food, and we'll begin clearing out these trees. This is my biggest stockpile of trees on the entire island, and they're taking up so much room, and I'm gonna eventually have to decorate this area separately, so we're gonna start to move these over into a new, more permanent location. I can't believe I've picked up 10, and I've hardly made a dent in this forest. I'm starting by just digging some holes where I imagine trees would go. You can see right here kind of opens up a little bit, so I may put like maybe another one right here, or perhaps it can go maybe right here. And we'll just start filling those holes and seeing how things look. There we go. Yeah, so far so good. Kind of walk over here. We have some trees. Something's back there, but you're not sure what just yet. Put one right here. It kind of, you know, makes the terrarium stand out a bit more. The leaf stool is subtle, but nice. I got two right next to each other right here, which, oh, that one's too close to the edge, it looks like. Let me just try one more time. So I guess they can't be like right on top of this little area. I thought they could come right up to here. Let me try this one real quick. Okay, no, this changes things a little bit. I wanted to make sure that I had some right up against the hedges, so it kind of, in, you know, certain parts of the day anyway, casts a bit of a shadow on the benches. And that's all 10 of my trees spent. Let's just take a quick walk through here. And yeah, it does feel a bit woodsy. It's kind of cool. I do wish I could get them right on the edge. It's a bit disappointing that I can't, but maybe this present will cheer me up. No, never mind. Dreamy shelves are nothing. But overall, I think this is pretty nice. I'm now thinking I will go get that red leaf pile and put it like right here. There's just a big open spot here. I don't feel like I need more trees. It's gonna need more stuff. And as we saw, the red leaf pile just, I don't know, having it be red like that just looked a little bit off. Maybe you don't agree, but I can't get it out of my head. So we'll try it right about here, and yeah, I like that. I think it kind of fills in this space quite nicely. I also grabbed one of my favorite fences for just kind of leaving around as if it's an item, and it's called the spiky fence. Some might argue that this fence looks a bit aggressive. The reason I like it though is because of how natural it looks. It looks kind of rustic. Someone just like tied some sharp sticks together and walked away, you know? If you're walking on the path and you're paying attention to what's beyond this hedge over here, it does look like there's a lot of things going on. I think that is a gap right there we need to fill in with something. But yeah, you got the mushroom tables, you got the stone, the leaf pile, you got those fences just kind of like poking out every so often. The last thing we need are some flowers. And if you recall, I wasn't sure what to do with the orange lilies, but now that we kind of have this area with these mushrooms and fall vibes, this now feels like the exact flower we need to kind of scatter around in those more empty spaces. I was also left with some extra red and yellow lilies over here, so I may as well grab them as well. I only have a couple of black lilies, and I'm probably not going to use those because once you add the black to the orange, it definitely looks like a Halloween area. That's gonna bug me. Okay, so I've gotten the flowers scattered around, and yeah, this is looking pretty cool to me. I like it a lot. It's kind of one of those areas that you can't put too many things in, you know? Since no one's gonna walk back there, you could really chock that full of all kinds of fun items. As you know, I don't have a lot of any items, fun or otherwise, so I'm just doing my best. Of course, the last thing I would like to do is just find some items that I can put on the tables at least. How do you make this? Of course, mini dharmas don't have those. Turkey Day wheat decor could be something we use in at least like maybe one of the tables. If we customize them, maybe we can use a couple of bamboo candle holders. I mean, the pot recipe, we just got another one of these today. I think the universe is telling us to use some of these. Well, let's go grab some more customization kits because I did run out like ages ago. All right, I just made 2 of these bamboo candle holders, so I'm gonna try that right there. Yep. Perfect. Let's see if we can get one right here. It doesn't look as good as I thought it would. I think right there is something. I also want to try this. I'm gonna need to remove some hedges, but I think I can get the Turkey Day wheat decor to face the way I want it to if I just place it from over here. I'll accept that. I was hoping the bow would face out, but having it face towards people walking is also fine. The one thing I'm unwilling to do is move the mushroom tables at this point. I have them exactly where I want them. I crafted a whole bunch of these pots, so we'll just kind of put these scattered about as well. I always like putting them kind of next to each other like this. I think it looks kind of neat. And maybe we'll take this one and kind of put it there so you can see it easier. Let's shove another pot next to this mushroom table here. I don't know if anyone will be able to see it, but for some reason I would like to put one behind this stone that we made. Just kind of shove it right there. You can just barely see it from certain angles. I like it. And this spot's been bugging me quite a bit. It's so empty. Do I have another pot? I don't, but let's go ahead and grab this one. And let's try putting it over here, actually. Yeah, that's much better. I'm glad there's something there now. I could place stuff in this area literally all day, but I want to also not forget that we have all these benches, and there's really nothing of interest around them at all. So one type of flower I definitely want to keep on my island are mums, especially the yellow ones, because you can make mum cushions with them. That's why they're plucked at the moment. And I'm thinking we could maybe take the yellow and the white mums and maybe put those over by the benches. I may as well grab the pink ones to see if there's a home for them. And we'll come back for the red ones because my inventory is full, but I mean, there's no reason not to include them, I suppose. There's like a perfect spot between this shrub and this bench, so I'm gonna put a pink one here and do a pink one on the exact opposite end as well. I've created a pattern here where it's yellow, white, yellow for the mums here and then here. And I just popped a balloon and literally got a green leaf pile recipe. We were just saying we needed one of these. What is happening right now? Are you serious? Well, we might as well make one. What a redemption arc for this campsite today. Look at oh, well, that's not where I wanted it. Look at that. That's exactly what I wanted. Oh, I could not be happier. I forgot that there are still young spring bamboo recipes we haven't gotten our hands on yet. So that was amazing. Let me go ahead and also, let me taper this here. I forgot that I've been meaning to do that. There we go. Anyway, now that we know how our mums are gonna be placed down, there is one thing that I did want to do, and that was to put the dark dirt path underneath where the flowers are going. This always just looks really nice, like you've intentionally created a little flower bed. So we're just gonna do that in these spots. Yeah, this is looking awesome. I could almost put this path underneath this entire thing, under the benches, the shrubs, but I think using it in moderation actually looks even better. As for the other empty areas next to these benches, I think I still want to place stuff down. I don't want to leave them empty. I just need to find the right items to put there. But we have other areas we still need to focus on today. It may not be that big, but this area in particular is one that I'm very interested in kind of finishing up. And if you're wondering why it seems a bit later, it's because I just ate some food. Due to the very central location of this particular spot, I've decided this is the perfect place to put a crafting area. In my opinion, little spots like this are the perfect way to unwind after a huge project. My favorite thing to use for crafting areas are the iron shelves, which I don't have. But my second favorite thing is barrels. So since I'm lacking tall items, I think instead of a shelf, I'll go ahead and grab another tree. I know I've used a lot of paths around this island, but I'm going to try and put a little dirt path underneath this crafting area. I think in this case, leaving like a little bit of grass in front of it might look good, but we're open to putting more dirt there. We're also open to just getting rid of this dirt if it looks bad. I'm gonna place a tree on the corner, just like that. I think that looks pretty nice. I also want to try the corrugated iron fence back here since this area is supposed to look kind of like a little bit rough. We'll put the barrel down kind of next to the tree like this. So I'm gonna place the workbench maybe like right about here. And that does leave a little space there, which I don't know, is a bit frustrating, but I can also kind of ignore it. And then I'm gonna place a box-shaped seat right here to kind of close off this area a little bit, but I'm not going to stop there. What would a toolbox look like on top of the seat? It's a bit funny because the seat is so small, but you know what? I actually kind of like it. It almost looks like the toolbox has its own set of legs. And then another type of item I actually like decorating with would be customization kits. A lot of times I'll put a whole stack of them next to a crafting area. In this case, we're just putting one, but it's nice because I use this to refresh my tools like all the time, and sometimes you don't have them on you. So going here and like grabbing your stack of customization kits and then fixing up your tools is actually a really good strategy. Could this be another recipe? It is. It's a basket pack. I legitimately love finding wearables for my character because of this DIY challenge. I don't know, I might actually update my outfit soon. Anyway, I'm not done quite yet. This area still needs some stuff. It's so like close to being perfect. I'm gonna try a tree here. Now, one, I don't think it'll work because it's too close to the cliff, but even if it does, I think it's going to obstruct the view of this little pond, or it might enhance it. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, well, let it be known that something should go right here. I honestly don't know what. I need more tall things. What about something like this? I would say flowers placed down as items is incredibly underrated. I like this a lot. Something I've been meaning to do is unlock this right here. It's going to allow me to customize fences. And the fence I want to customize is this one. There's all kinds of fun colors, but let's be lazy and just try white. Yeah, I think this looks pretty good. And I know these have been kind of a go-to item for me, but I'm crafting yet another destination signpost. I mean, come on, where there's an intersection, there's confusion. So what solves that? A destination signpost. Going back to our hedges, I think we should put hedges somewhere nearby. And I don't know if they should go around this build or kind of near the flowers. Let's try them here first. I kind of feel like a hedge backdrop could be a good choice. I will need to find a new home for these signs, but that's not really a problem. I'll figure that out. So I feel like the hedges here do add something, just an extra layer of separation between the flower garden and the potluck. We of course have to match them on this side though. And I just want to see what happens when we kind of start lining the paths with them a little bit. Something about these here feels really good. I still need to figure out what's gonna go in front of Abel's. I have a little bit of room before you get into like this area we made forever ago. but oh, I have to get the balloon. I'm not sure what could go here. It can't be too big though. Let's go see what this is. It was just some iron. I was just doing some testing and something is off with the table placements here, but there's not much I feel like I can do about it. But like, for example, if you were up against this hedge and you walked, you would run into this table. But the same does not happen on this side. So I've been just kind of trying to figure stuff out. I still have like to squeeze through here. I still have to squeeze through here. But yeah, it's just because we're, you know, dealing with an even number and then odd numbers, and it's causing all kinds of chaos. Anyway, as long as I don't include that information in the final edit of this video, no one will ever know. We have another balloon floating overhead, and this one is a safety railing, so it is junk I cannot use. While we're here, this is another section of the island we really need to start figuring out sooner rather than later. This is, of course, our entrance, which we discovered isn't perfectly aligned with resident services unless you count the entire footprint of the airport. Then it is kind of perfectly aligned. So we made this big path, but unfortunately, it stops you right here because this was like one of our first builds as we were working towards 3 stars, and it's never moved. It's always just kind of stayed this way. Because of this, we're kind of in an interesting conundrum. Do we want a path that leads right into the entrance of resident services, or could you almost include this as part of the entrance to resident services, this little camp area? I never intended for this build to never change. I thought I would move it around, but honestly, the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of thinking we don't change this build, or at least remove it. I do think I could enhance it in one small way. Just a little patch of dirt. It makes everything feel way more complete. As for the front of the build, this is where things get a bit interesting because we started out symmetrical and then we did something to kind of change things. We added a house here and I'm not planning on moving it. So I think we'll have to do something right here that kind of balances this front part out. And then back here, I'm going to include some cherry trees. Cherries are like the fruit for the whole island, so I thought it'd be cool to put them in like a fun pattern. We just got the light bamboo rug recipe from a balloon, so this is cool. I could use all the indoor decorations that are in the game, so this is great. I'm gonna scoop up this money tree instead of cutting it down. I could use the money. Today's not been a great money-making day. However, we've kept that money tree for so long that I'm starting to feel a bit, you know, territorial over it. I want to protect it. Go ahead and catch these. I am going to chop this tree down, especially because it just tried to kill me. What I would like to do over here is put yet more dirt patches. I'm very limited on the amount of space that I have, and if I'm using dirt patches to kind of like put underneath these cherry trees, you can see that I don't have a lot of room for as many as I thought. I thought I could put like maybe 3 on each side, but certainly not the way this pattern is working out. At least if I want the separation between them that I want, it's not going to work out. That said, though, there's nothing inherently wrong with having just 4 cherry trees up front, especially because we have even more as you go back here. So yeah, I think we'll roll with it. I'm going to go ahead and put dirt where you see these open squares. I just wanted to like visualize how many trees we could place. But yeah, I'll do that. And I still don't know what's going to go right here, but definitely something. This time around, we're actually going to plant some little baby cherry trees because I think I've chopped down like all the other ones that don't already have a permanent home. And luckily for us, planting fruit trees was a task. Oh, and we hadn't planted cherries before. Cool. So that leaves only 2 other trees, oranges and pears, which we'll probably never get. So where does that leave us? Well, we have this entire stretch of path, at least the left side of it, all decked out. I don't think I need to do anything else over here except maybe put a couple little items between these benches. Maybe. We don't even have to do that necessarily. If we walk over here, the entrance of the island itself is starting to come together with some brand new cherry trees that'll grow in soon and plenty of space to put a couple little other knickknacks, maybe some more hedges. I'm not sure. We also have decided that this build is just going to stay right where it is. And we've started to come closer to completing this big commerce area next to Abel's and Nook's. The potluck area is looking a little bit better. Now we know we need to put something right in here. We're just not sure what yet. And then my favorite corner of the island so far is probably this one. Just something about this little section feels really, really good. And I'm hoping to put something right here that really ties it all together, just not sure what yet. So this was a very productive day, but we still have so much work ahead of us and not many videos left. In fact, one of them is right on your screen right now, at least if it's ready. You can click on that and see how we fare.